So Kai, do you like news?
Yeah, I like news.
What about gaming news?
Yeah, I like gaming news.
Because for once, we actually have quite a bit of gaming news to talk about on this show.
Oh boy, okay.
There have actually been quite a few announcements and reveals throughout June, so we're going to have a lot to talk about.
Nice, can't wait.
So, hi everyone, I am the Chosen One Legend here, and with my co-host.
I am Kai, also known as Fascorian.
And welcome to our podcast BunchaJokahs, where we talk about all sorts of Nintendo things and other gaming stuff too. And as I said before, we've actually got a lot to talk about this month, so it's going to be a fun one. You excited, Kai?
I can't wait, let's get into it.
Yeah. I will say, to contrast it, there's pretty much nothing to talk about for July, so it does balance itself out. But let's get started anyway with our first segment of the podcast. Can't have a podcast without news, baby, where we talk about news over the past month. And we're going to start things off with the 11th of June, where there was this... Wait, June? Is that the right month? You know what, Kai? I don't even know time anymore. We're in July now, aren't we?
Yeah, it was the 11th of June, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the 11th of June. Time is just a myth to me at the moment. Everything's the same. But but on the 11th of June, we had the PlayStation 5 presentation, where they showed off quite a bit. Now, as we've said before, we are not PlayStation gamers, so we don't have too much to go into here, but the first thing I'd like to talk about is the console itself that they revealed. So have you seen the design of the console?
Yeah, I've seen it. It's huge, right?
Yeah, it is a beast.
Yeah.
Not quite a block like the Xbox Series X, but it's bigger. It's even bigger, so...
Yeah. I don't mind the design of it, though. It does look nice, I'll give it that.
Yeah, I think, the colour scheme, I've really grown on it over time, and the way it matches with the controller, I do think is quite nice.
Yeah.
Sort of, it definitely looks kind of futuristic-ish, which I think is a good look for a new console.
Yeah, it sort of seems like a new direction for PlayStation themselves to be going with that design, but it kind of fits the modern era, so I can kind of respect what they're doing there.
Yeah, my only big gripe is that if I was getting it, which I probably won't be because I'm not made of money, but I would probably get the disc version, because there's a separate disc version and digital only version.
Yeah,
I do think the disc, it looks a little bit out of place in the disc version. You can tell it's designed from a digital perspective. So
yeah, I do like the options for that one. Caters to everyone.
Yeah. I mean, why not have even though I'd want the disc version, why not have an extra option that's a little cheaper if people prefer all digital? So
yeah, I mean, it's basically standing up against the Stadia console at this point.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. My biggest gripe is that I think it doesn't look. The design doesn't work as well horizontally as it does vertically.
Yeah, I get that.
Probably
I can't imagine
a lot
it
of
being
people,
laid down and looking nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and probably because of how big it is, a lot of people are probably going to have it horizontal. But that's a small gripe. I do like the look of it overall.
Okay.
Looks fun.
Yeah, it seems
and they
alright,
also showed.
Sure.
Yeah, and they also showed off a lot of games. So I'm just going to list out a few here. So we saw Spider-Man Miles Morales, Horizon Forbidden West, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, Resident Evil 8, and Grand Theft Auto 5 again. So they couldn't get away without that. That was the first thing they announced, of course.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm disappointed in that. I've never been a huge GTA person. I've never played more than an hour of GTA gameplay, but
Same,
man,
yeah.
the players deserve a GTA 6 at this point, surely.
They do, yeah. And you kind of think, if you're going to port it, you think something like the Switch would make more sense, where it's a new audience for it. But
yeah,
everyone getting a PS5 would have probably got it on the PS4 and the PS3 before that, so...
Yeah, it is a bit of a weird one.
I guess it makes some money, so I guess I can see why. It's just a bit of a disappointment, I guess.
Yeah, that's Rockstar for you, though.
Yeah. But were there any other games that I listed or otherwise that stood out for you in particular?
Yeah, there was one I distinctly remember standing out to me, was the game Kena Bridge of Spirits. I'm pretty sure that's the name of it.
Oh, is that the one that's almost looks a little Pikmin-like?
Yeah, kind of. And
Yeah.
I believe
Yeah.
it's an indie game. I might be wrong on that, but I think it's an indie game. And
Well,
goddamn.
fun fact, the studio behind it, I can't remember their name, but they actually made a Majora's Mask animated little film. on YouTube
no
a few years
way.
back.
I need to check that out.
I'll send it to you. It's actually really good. It's very impressive, and you can tell the similarities in visual style between this. But
Cool.
I think Ember Studios or something like that. But they're so just on that alone, visually, this is obviously looks incredible. So
Yeah, I mean, it looks great. I think the gameplay looks really intriguing because it's a mix of Pikmin, which I love, of course. And
of course.
it seems a little bit more action-based. Like, I wouldn't go as far as to say it's Breath of the Wild level, but like the combat seems really fun and interactive. So I can't wait to see like how that all develops.
Yeah, that looked really interesting. I mean, it's one of the games I need to see more of. Actually, I haven't really seen more of it since the presentation, but it's definitely it's the kind of game that does something different, and you're kind of interested on it based on just that alone. So
yeah, just everything about it looks great to me. It's right up my alley.
Yeah, a few other things. Spider-Man looks interesting to me. I have played a bit of the original at my friend's place, so
right.
That's probably going to be fun. Horizon Zero Dawn was obviously a big hit, so a sequel is going to be massive for that.
Yeah, that's going to be good.
And Ratchet and Clank I've never played before, but it looked really nice.
Yeah, it looked pretty clean, to be honest. So I'm interested to see what they do with that game, see if it becomes a success or not.
Yeah, definitely. The thing is, I would be interested in some of these games, but there's still not enough there for me to buy a PlayStation 5, especially they didn't even show the price, which is worth noting. So
yeah, that's a bit risky. I don't know about that
one. that might be a little bit telling of the price if they're not showing it now. So
yeah, I think personally I'll probably get one sort of 6 months to a year after its release once the price has gone down a little bit. So.
Yeah, that's when it's been a year or so and there's more games out for it and the price has hopefully dropped. That's probably the best time to jump in.
Oh, also, as soon as Elder Scrolls 6 comes out on it, then I'm buying it straight away.
Yes, that's a good point actually.
I can't help myself.
We'll have to see what else more comes to the console, but it was actually, I think it's a pretty promising start. There was quite a lot of variety they showed off.
Yeah, it wasn't lacking for sure. It did all feel, a lot of it felt kind of samey, like a lot of the content.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's a lot of potential there for a good console to come. So.
Definitely. But moving on from that, on the 12th of June, we had a new trailer for Paper Mario: The Origami King, and I don't know if you remember much of it. They didn't really show off too much more. But they showed off some stuff like boss battles and a bit more into the game mechanics. So, do you have any thoughts on what they showed?
Yeah, I remember it kind of. It's not clear, but I do remember parts of it. The battle system is interesting. I'm not sure what to make of it yet, I'll be honest.
They still haven't... Have they confirmed yet whether or not it's consumable items you attack with, or is it just selecting from a move?
I'm not sure whether they've confirmed it yet. No.
Yeah, the fact that they're a bit up in the air about that gives me a bit of concern, but it still looks fun. They did show off, like, not only can you rotate, you can also move characters up a level as well.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of different stuff there in that certain, like, puzzle type, so I'm interested to see if that kind of content can hold up for an entire game's length. I sincerely hope it does.
Yeah, hopefully, and they also showed off some boss battles, like a pack of crayons, which I think is kind of funny. So...
Honestly, I hate the boss battles. I'm not gonna lie.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan. I think it's funny, but I think it perfectly encapsulates what Sticker Star did wrong. I think, like, with
like the giant fan and that,
Yeah, like, you take sort of the older games and you have, like, really interesting villains. You've got all the ones from Thousand Year Door, you've got ones from Super Paper Mario, like Dementio and stuff, that are really, like, interesting and have really interesting arcs. And now the bosses are tape and crayons, and it's like it's lost all like it's funny. I'll admit that, but I think it's lost the original sort of depth that the enemies would have to them. So
that is true. There's a good level of comedy to it, but it doesn't make them interesting really as villains. So
yeah,
I kind of like the idea of the fights, so that they're different. So actually, this time Mario is on the rotating grid, and you have to guide him to them.
Yeah, it is.
I think that's kind of interesting. But yeah, so your thoughts haven't really changed much on this game, then, have they? By this?
Yeah, I don't know what to think of it yet. You know, there's so many bits that I'm thinking that doesn't look like a good sign, but at the same time, they had some really good things in there, such as the new battle themes that we've heard a little bit about.
Yes, yeah, that was really nice.
It's rumoured that each region is going to have like a different battle theme or slightly different. I think that's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that is really neat, and it generally continues to look impressive visually. Like, it's a very beautiful game, and just the different environments really pop out with the use of colour. You know, so
yeah, that's going to be fun.
It's definitely an interesting one. I'm not gonna get it at launch. I'm probably gonna wait and see reviews and that, but
yeah.
Still, at least it's something. That's pretty much the only Nintendo game we have coming in the next month. So
yeah, that's true. That's true.
But aside from that, on the 14th, we had Persona 4 Golden was revealed for Steam, and it's now out on Steam.
Right.
Now, I haven't played any Persona, but I thought this was worth mentioning. Do you have any interest in getting this?
I mean, I've never played a Persona game either. I kind of know a couple of things about Persona 5, but I'm not huge on the topic of it.
Yeah.
However, I have heard a lot of good stuff about Persona 4 Golden. I think it's from what people have said. You know, they're like, you know, it's now on. Is it on Steam? Is that right?
Steam, yeah, Steam.
Like, people saying that they're able to buy it on Steam and play it now, and there's been so many good sort of reviews and good things said about it. So I am really tempted to buy it. I'm just holding off for now.
Yeah. Maybe in a few months, if there's still no big Nintendo games coming out, it might be a good time to dip into it. I do have a laptop that could probably play it, but I don't really like gaming on my laptop, so this would appeal to me more if it was on something like Switch.
Yeah, I mean,
still, it still looks like this game has a lot of a big reputation, so
yeah,
definitely something I'm going to keep my eye on. Especially
I've heard of the fabled Funky Student, so I might get it just for that. There's a Funky Student, yeah.
You have my interest. Is this like Donkey Kong new Funky mode? You know?
No, people who have played Persona 4 know what I mean, but I think it's Persona 4 anyway. But there's a Funky Student, and oh boy, he's funky.
You have got my interest there, Kai. I might have to check this out even more now. So
yeah, I'll send it to you in a second.
I do like a good bit of funkiness, so I'm all in.
Cool. Okay.
But next on the 15th, you probably won't have as much interest in this as me, but they revealed Star Wars Squadrons.
Yeah, that's more of your thing. I don't know anything about Star Wars.
This is my domain, so I won't linger on it too long. But it's a Star Wars fighter pilot game, basically, where you can form squadrons online with different ships and take part in dogfights or taking other capital ships. And I don't own the right consoles to actually play this, sadly. So,
oh, okay.
But what Star Wars fan hasn't wanted the dream of flying in their own TIE fighter? So it does look very cool.
I sent you the Funky Student, by the way.
Oh, Funky Student, let me check this out. I'm a little scared. Kai, that's wiggity whack, yo.
I'm not going to be using that phrase in everyday life.
I'm going to have to get a picture of this now to show in the podcast, but if you're listening to this on Spotify or something, just look it up. Do yourself a favour.
Yeah. Anyway, what were we saying?
Man. Something about Star Wars, I've forgotten now.
something TIE Fighters.
Something X-Wing, yes. But yeah, it looks very creative, and there's a little story mode, and I love new Star Wars story. It includes the character Hera from the animated show Star Wars Rebels, which I'm a fanboy of, so I'm all in. So. Yeah, I'll definitely try and play out with friends. That looks fun.
So is this going to be like a canon thing then, or is it non-canon?
Yeah, it's it is canon. The interesting thing, it actually has a custom character as the main character.
Okay.
So that's going to be a little bit in the air, I guess. But in general, the story is canon, and it references some of the books and comics as well, which is a really nice detail.
Yeah, I guess as long as it fits in, then it counts, you know.
Yeah, I do love a bit of connectivity when they reference each other, so that's going to be fun to watch at least.
Fair enough.
And on the 16th of June, they showed off, more news every day. They showed off Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory, which is a Kingdom Hearts rhythm game. And
that was a weird one.
Speaking of canon, this is going to be canon, so...
It's Kingdom
Hearts, everyone.
Complex. Yeah. Kingdom Hearts is the craziest plotline I've ever heard of.
Yeah. I don't know much, I haven't played much of it, but from the little I've heard someone try to explain about it, it's, you might as well be, trying to explain to me Pythagoras or something. It's just over my head.
No one I don't think understands how the Kingdom Hearts plot fully works at this point. Is that adding a rhythm game to it? Okay.
And the thing is, I believe it's actually the most recent game in the timeline. It carries on from Kingdom Hearts 3.
That's crazy.
It's not just canon, it is an important part of the story and lore.
That's honestly hilarious.
It is so funny. It's ridiculous, but I love it. And
yeah.
The thing is, I really like rhythm games, so this kind of interests me a little bit, but I'm not sure if I'm ready for the lore, so we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, it looks a bit plain. Like I bet it's fun for Kingdom Hearts fans and rhythm game fans, and I do like the Rhythm Heaven series myself. But I don't know.
That's a good series.
In comparison to that, this just I don't know. I haven't seen much of it, so I might be wrong on this, but it does seem a little bit plain. So.
Yeah, it seems like they're actually a lot of it is just pressing stuff in beat with a cutscene, and some of the other stuff is just characters walking down the line and jumping, basically. So
yeah, it seems a bit odd, but I don't know.
I guess I haven't really heard much Kingdom Hearts music, but it's meant to be really good. So I guess just from that perspective, it'll probably be appealing to a lot of people.
That's a good point. I mean, you can always just compare it to have you played Splatoon 2?
Only the demos, but
right. There's a mode in that which is basically it's like a rhythm game mode for all of the songs in the game that's just already in there.
Oh, really?
Of course, it's not to the same sort of production value, but
yeah, is that the one that plays in like loading screens or something like that?
No, not the one with loading screens. I don't think.
Because there's something like that in Splatoon 1, but it's slightly different.
It might.
It's like
it might be slightly different.
In Splatoon 1, I remember, which I did play, there's like a mini game when you're waiting for when you're loading something. Still, that's really cool though.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, moving on. It only gets better from here, Kai. Trust me. Because
oh boy.
On the 17th, we had a Pokemon presentation, and
oh boy.
Kai, do you like to brush your teeth?
Oh boy, do I?
I'm glad you said yes. It would have been concerning otherwise. But
yeah.
There's now Pokemon Smile, where you can catch Pokemon while you brush your teeth. It's not for us, but cool.
I'm curious to hear who's going to complete the national dex for Pokemon Brush. It's just
you know what, Kai? Have you considered streaming it? I'm just saying.
Oh boy, that'd be a fun one. Just someone joins onto the stream. I'm just sitting there like, okay, here's a Rhyhorn. My gums are bleeding.
Watch out, Kai. There's a Charizard on your molar. You gotta get it. So.
Oh boy. So bizarre, but oh well.
It's not for us, I guess. It's for kids. So.
It's funny, so I'll take it.
Yeah. And they also showed off Pokemon Snap, a new Pokemon Snap sequel, which that is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of threw me off, but at the same time, it didn't surprise me because I knew it was going to happen eventually.
Yeah, you kind of think now's a good time for it. So
yeah, it's such a weird series though. Like just taking pictures of Pokemon as you go around a tour. Like it's such an odd idea, but everyone loves it. I mean, I've never understood the hype myself, but everyone loves it, and I can respect that. So cool.
Yeah, I've never I've watched the Runaway guys play it, but I've never played it myself or anything.
Right.
But I guess the kind of appeal of it, it's probably the closest you get to seeing Pokemon in their natural habitats, I guess, in a realistic kind of manner. So I guess that's kind of the appeal to it.
Yeah.
Like seeing was it a Wailord, like massive one, just pop out of the ocean is kind of funny.
That's true. That's true. And it looks amazing too, doesn't it?
It does.
It wasn't made by Game Freak, so that's probably why.
I think that says enough there. So.
Yeah, I will stop.
It's the best it's looked.
I'm going to stop myself there on talking about the graphics of Pokemon before I get too into it.
Well, Kai, funny you say that because I should also mention the Isle of Armour came out the same day or the evening of.
Yeah.
Now, neither of us got it, but our wonderful assistant and marketing director and logo maker, Australian Samm, and Slave, of course. Let me just check he's getting back to work now, actually. Okay, yeah, all good. But
Cool.
he did, in fact, give us some information on it because he played it. And I think we should probably talk about it a little bit because it's such a big topic. So
Of course.
let's look at his notes. I did have to narrow them down a bit from an essay, so... But basically, the gist of he said that the graphics were a step up from the main game, but nothing special. You're not going to be blown away by it. But he said the story is about 4 to 6 hours, short and sweet, and it's nothing amazing, but it's a nice distraction from the core game. He says that the whole game is now a wild area, and that's actually been improved. It's more diverse than the wild area in the main game. So I don't know. I haven't actually played the main game, but did you find the wild area in the main game a little bit lacking, perhaps?
I enjoy it. I appreciate what it looks like, but it is kind of plain. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess he says that the new one's a bit more diverse and has different types of regions in it, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I've seen a bit of gameplay,
guess-
and it does seem to have a lot more varying environments. So.
Yeah, and I guess it's another step towards maybe getting a full game in this style maybe one day.
Yeah, we can dream.
Hopefully they can keep improving it. He said the characters, the new rivals have a nice arc. That's cool, and there's some new features such as Pokemon will follow you now. Even though it's a little bit dodgy, I've heard, and I've seen pictures.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of bits of that. It's really, really jammy, but I mean, it's still there, so I don't know.
It's better than not being there, I think, still. So that's still cool.
Just hella broken.
Very broken. And overall, he said it's a fun distraction. It's more to keep you going. But I get the impression that, like we said last month in our speculation, if you weren't that into the main game, there's nothing going to change your mind, really. It's just more of that.
Yeah, I played the main game through. You know, I've done all of the stuff in the main game, and I just didn't find this appealing. So I don't know.
Yeah, like I said, I've never been a big Pokemon fan, and this Sword and Shield just didn't look appealing to me. But that's just, I can't really talk too much because it's not my domain. So
That's true.
yeah, I'm glad that people do seem to be enjoying it. At least it's generally got a positive reception, I think. So that's nice to hear.
Yeah. Torna still is better DLC. Just want to point out.
Absolutely, and don't worry, we will get into there's worse Pokemon news coming. So we'll get to that later. Though. On the 22nd, Sakurai did a presentation revealing Min for Smash. So this actually, we had the trailer showing her off. So what do you think of the presentation and just the fact that it's Min in general?
I'm happy with it. I mean, I remember they did a poll for Arms on who was the favourite character, and she won. So
yeah, it was like a big tournament thing, I think.
Yeah, like what Sakurai said about how they mentioned there is no main character in Smash. Like Springman's the mascot, but there's no main character. So I think it's cool that Min's taken up the slot because. She has a cool design. Like, she's not one of the super gimmicky characters in ARMS is the thing, because a lot of them are very gimmicky, and she's not one of them.
Yeah.
So it works
definitely.
for her to sort of represent ARMS as a whole. And, of course, her design is great. The trailer was really well animated, actually.
It was. The second they opened up in the ramen shop, I was like, Min, yes.
Yeah, you could
then
tell.
Then it showed Springman. When it showed Springman, I was like, please no, get punched. Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah.
But that was a really fun presentation.
Yeah, it's good to see. The whole presentation of it was good. I think having an ARMS character in as a whole is. Honestly, I like the idea of it because although the game kind of flopped in a way, I still really respect it as a new series that they attempted, and I think that, given that it went in a slightly different direction, that game could have been a big hit because there were a lot of really interesting characters and design choices made.
And the thing is, even though it didn't live up to like Splatoon or anything, it still sold like 2 million or so. It's outsold, XENOBLADE and other games like that. So it's
that's true, yeah.
It's still a big-ish game, partly because of the time it came out when there were no games. But
yeah, I think it's good though. It represents sort of the newer era of Nintendo.
Yeah, and I've only played the demos of it, but Min Min was the one I mained. She's a lot of fun, and like you say, her character design's really nice. So
Cool. I was a Master Mummy main for a bit.
Oh yes, he's pretty cool as well.
Big fan.
You know, maybe in DLC Pack 3 you'll get him in, Kai. So.
Oh, also the music is a bop.
Oh,
I'll just want to say that Arm's music is a bop. Like, I love it.
It is. I mean, if you'll be hearing it right now, I'm definitely putting Min Min's theme into this, but the remixes are really nice too. So
yeah.
And I should probably mention as well that it's been a lot of talk on the internet that this is the first spirit we've had upgraded to a fighter. It was never a set rule necessarily beforehand that couldn't happen, but now we have confirmation, and that does, I guess, open things up a little bit more. Now that we're in the second pass, with characters could get a second chance, so you never know what's going to happen.
I've kind of given up with huge speculation and setting rules at this point. I just think Sakurai's a mad lad who's done with all of us. He just wants to put in who he wants, and I respect that.
It's Sakurai has no rules. He just does whatever he wants, and I love that. So
straight up,
we got a piranha plant in Smash. Anything goes. So. That's amazing. And have you actually? She did come out a week later. So have you had a chance to try her out yet?
No, I haven't bought the second DLC pack yet. Although I am intending to at some point soon. So I haven't played her. Yeah.
But no, yeah, that's I managed to get a little bit of a play with her, and she is really fun. She is. It's weird. On one hand, she's kind of the most basic character in that her special moves are just punches. That's literally all she does.
Yeah.
But it's so unique that that's all she has, and the way you have to fight from a distance with her arms is very creative. They've adapted her perfectly from the source.
Yeah, I was going to say that, like, from the gameplay that I have seen, it seems like they've translated the way that you play her in ARMS perfectly into Smash Bros. in how you sort of try and distance yourself, and the timing on using two punches at once. It seems great, honestly.
It is, and I got to play a little bit with friends, 4 of us all playing Min Min on the stage. It's ridiculous, and I love it, so... I can only imagine 8-player Smash.
Yeah. Oh my god,
it is ridiculous, yeah. But it's a lot of fun. She's quite a dynamic character. You sort of want to keep a distance, but at the same time, she has a deadly up-close move with her up smash attack, which can also reflect projectiles, and that's insane.
Yeah.
So
I did have one issue with the presentation, though.
Oh yeah?
Why they got to use my boy Marth as the target in all of these? Like, every single demonstration by Sakurai, it's always Marth, and I'm like, come on, man. I main him, come on.
They've got to show him up. After he had that ridiculous length grab in Melee, they've got to show him up with Min Min's grab now. So.
Straight up, everyone's just outranging him now.
He's been reduced to atoms, it's gone. But yeah, so that's really cool. And
yeah.
Also on the 22nd, I don't know how much we'll have to say about this, but they revealed Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time. And I've never played the Crash Bandicoot game, but this looks nice.
Yeah, I haven't seen too much about it, but it did look nice, that's for sure.
It seems very faithful to the traditional Crash gameplay. So it's very much living up to the remasters of the first 3 they had recently.
Yeah.
I do intend to play those one day. I haven't got around to them, but you know, a lot of people are going to love this. I hope it comes to the Switch eventually.
Yeah, I mean, you're a big fan of platformers, aren't you? So this might be the one.
Yeah. It very well might be. I do love myself a cheeky bit of platforming, so hopefully we'll see it cross over.
Yeah.
Now, Kai, 24th of June, Pokemon Unite.
So, okay.
Yeah. I'll just be silent and let you say your thing.
Thank you. So we were told, of course, we got told a little bit before the Direct, the Pokemon was sort of bigging it up to be this huge thing, like, oh, we've got a separate big, like, sort of announcement to be had. And, you know, we were all, like, hyped for it. Some people were like, oh my god, like, remakes of Diamond and Pearl and all this sort of stuff. Personally, I really want Gale of Darkness sequel, please. Or
that would be nice.
Even just a port. I'll just take a port. But you know, I was really hoping for something like that, but at the same time I didn't have my hopes high because it's Pokemon in 2020.
Yeah,
but you know, then they announced it and it was a scam, kind of. Yeah,
pretty much a MOBA, same thing really.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll admit the gameplay looks interesting. I won't lie, like, when I saw it, I did think, this kind of looks interesting. You know, it's a mobile. They've mixed mobile games with Pokemon, with League of Legends, kind of. But it's also
it's just...
seeming like to be like a gacha game as well.
Yeah, I don't know too much about the genre, and I've heard some dodgy things about the company, so I don't know too much. But the game aside, it's not a bad idea necessarily. It could be fun, you know. There's particularly, I think, overseas, there's a big audience for this who are going to really love it. The thing is, they had their messaging all wrong with how they revealed it and who they revealed it to, and
yeah, because apparently
that's the big problem.
This is meant to be like a big thing to get people in China to play Pokemon, because apparently you know they want to boost the sales of Pokemon there. But yeah, for us, I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's just the fact that they bigged it up as the presentation. You know, I think people were always expecting too much with like the next remakes or whatever. But you know, I think you at the very least expected something like Detective Pikachu, or you know, a remake of an old spin-off or something.
Yeah,
you expected something more than a mobile game. But
yeah, it's weird. Like, I can understand. Like, we wouldn't want like, you know, big games so recently, because of course they've still got Gen 8 they're focusing on. Like, it would be irresponsible to be asking for a remake so soon, because they wouldn't have the production well enough for it.
Definitely.
So I get that, but at the same time, I can kind of understand why people were getting hyped for something good when it was made to be like, it was made to be like a separate announcement as a whole. They could have just put it in with the other one, and people would have been like, yeah, fair enough. I reckon. That's
the thing. I think if you did tie this in with something else, it would have gone over fine. It got so much hate because it was bigged up to be something more. So it's fine. It's just it does show me that the Pokemon company are a little bit out of touch with their audience, I think.
I mean, they took they're like, hey, what do people like at the moment? League of Legends is still pretty popular. Everyone always loves Pokemon. It's the highest grossing franchise of all time. People like mobile games. Clash of Clans is still a thing, right? Flappy Bird? Huh? And then they just were like...
Oh, Flappy Bird!
Yeah.
Oh.
And then they were like, hang on, Fire Emblem Heroes got loads of money because you can pay for things. They just put all of that into one.
Yeah, you know, Kai, you've actually scared me that they're going to release Flappy Pidgey next or something, so...
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
We had Magikarp Jump, whatever that was, so...
Hey, I played that game. That was a fun one.
Is it good?
I don't know. It's fun for the first 20 minutes.
Fair enough, but let's get off of Pokemon now. Pokemon can be done for this podcast.
It's all out now.
Onto Animal Crossing, because on the 25th, they announced an update with swimming and diving added to the game, which it will be out by the time this podcast releases. So what did you think of that?
I'll admit I haven't looked too much into it. I think both of us are pretty burnt out on Animal Crossing, aren't we? So,
yes. I haven't touched it in a month.
You know, I remember in New Leaf when they had the I'm pretty sure they had the diving suit there, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing.
So I guess it's cool. Like, I'm happy that they're including all of these as free updates, because of course Animal Crossing has always been one of those seasonal games that adds things in bit by bit. So
yeah, I still know plenty of people, even though I've burnt out on it myself, and I know you have. I still know plenty of people who are playing it daily. So it's good that they're adding more for them. So
as we speak, the stalk market is still booming.
I kind of wonder, like, how have people not got like maxed out bells by this point? I wonder.
That's true.
It's just so abusable, the stalk market, but it's kind of funny. I love it. But I did like in the presentation how like it showed them not just diving, but they actually sprinted off and leapt off the rocks into the ocean, which was that was kind of neat.
Yeah, it's a nice little touch.
I could imagine you having like a pool party with friends or something, you know, a beach party. So that could be cool.
Sure. It would be cool. I mean, I didn't watch it fully, so I might be wrong on this.
Yeah.
But it would have been cool if they added like, I don't know, like water-based furniture or something like that. You know, where you can actually put it in the water.
We didn't see that. I think there's like shell furniture for your house, but imagine
I mean, like actual...
a rubber, like a little beach chair or something floating in the sea, or
that kind of thing. Yeah.
That would have been awesome, actually, like an inflatable slide or something. Yeah. I don't know.
Take notes, Nintendo.
Yeah, hire us, please. But that's still just a neat addition to keep the game going. And they did also announce that we're going to be getting more information soon on the following months. So it's still there. It's good they're still supporting this game.
Yeah.
But that's all the news we have. So that that was 35 minutes of news or so. So
Yeah.
But moving things on, we're on to the next segment, Games Time Baby, where we talk about what we've been playing. And still Xenoblade, isn't it? Quite a lot.
Yeah, for me,
Yeah.
there's been a lot of Xenoblade, and I've still been playing Inazuma 11, to be fair. I mentioned how big the post game is, so I've been grinding out that a little bit.
That's cool.
But the main game I've actually been playing recently is I bought Clubhouse Games.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah.
And yeah,
how's it going?
It's a lot of fun. You know, I love playing the card games and all of that sort of stuff. All of the games are really fun. So I've kind of been going through it. I've been trying to win on every difficulty because there is it kind of does track that actually. So I've been
that's cool.
I've been trying to go full completionist. Unfortunately, I suck at chess. So yeah, when I get to that one, that's going to be tough. But a lot of the ones like the card games and stuff, they've just been fun to play, and I've gotten into the habit of playing Mahjong Solitaire at 3 o'clock in the morning now. So I'm pretty sure I'm classified as a boomer.
Who plays Clubhouse Games at 3 a.m? Kai. Oh boy, 3 a.m.
Straight up, yeah, straight up. It's true.
That's cool though. Have you got a chance to play with any friends online? Because I know Sophie has the game, I think.
I haven't given it a go yet, no, but I am looking forward to doing that at some point. Maybe a stream in the future.
Definitely, yeah. I've got a lot at the moment, but you know, when I next have a lull and I have some money again after spending it all on Xenoblade Limited Edition,
yeah,
I might want to pick this up because it seems like a lot of fun. I love board games and card games, so
yeah, it even has Uno on there, pretty much.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say my favourite game from the whole, well, not my favourite game from the whole set, but one I didn't think I'd like enjoy as much as I did, was Mini Shogi actually.
Okay.
It's kind of like chess with different pieces that can move in different ways, but it's when you take the opponent's piece, it kind of goes off to the side, and you actually get to put that on the board as one of your pieces.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's really, yeah, it's like chess, but on a different wavelength. And Mini Shogi, rather than being a huge board, it's I think 5x5 with only 6 pieces on each side, so it's just like quick fire, really intense stuff, and it's really fun. But I'm terrible at it.
Yeah, I mean, there's there's a lot of board games on there, and that I've never even heard of. So it would be quite fun, I can imagine, to get to try out new ones other than the typical ones you expect, like chess and Uno and that.
Yeah.
So.
Also, I hate Ludo. It took me 5 hours to beat.
You don't like Ludo? Ludo's a classic.
I used to like it, but yeah, it literally took me 5 hours to beat. The AI were doing my head in, like, you know how if you roll a 6, you get to move again? Like,
yeah. Oh, did they all get 6s?
I'd be like 1 point. I'd be 1 move from winning, and then they just roll like 3 6s, then a 4, and land directly on me. Every time, man.
They should have a move like Monopoly. If you get 3 6s, you go to jail. You know.
Would be nice.
That's cool though. Yeah, I guess I have also. I should mention that Battle for Bikini Bottom did come out.
Of course, yeah.
I've only played like 2 hours of it because I've been distracted by a certain other game I'll get to. But but yeah, it is. It's really fun. It's just the same game with a visual lift. It's got a lot of flack by critics. You might have seen.
I've seen bits of argument against it. I've seen a lot of dumb reviews at the same time though, so I'm not really sure what to make of it.
Basically, I think it's not like an upgrade, you know, like Crash Bandicoot got or like Xenoblade got. It plays very much the same like a PS2 game. It handles like a PS2 game, you know.
Right.
So I can see why people might, you know, be turned off it by that regards, but at its core, it's the same game, and if you like the original, it looks better now, and there's no reason, I guess, you wouldn't enjoy it now, so...
Yeah, I mean, I think some people do enjoy just going back to having the kind of slightly jankier controls and all of that sort of thing.
Yeah. So. In a weird way, it's nostalgic, so... And also, I do appreciate the idle animations and the facial expressions are amazing. They've animated Spongebob to perfection.
Yeah, okay.
Like, when the robot starts coming towards you, Spongebob will just open his mouth in a scream and start running away with his hands in the air. Like, all his different idle animations are memes from the internet, so...
Are they actually?
Well, I mean, they're from SpongeBob episodes, but, like, Patrick has the Surprised Patrick face from the SpongeBob movie as one of his idle animations.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Cool, man. I like that. You know, I do like when games sort of notice what their audience is. So that's cool.
Yeah, and one thing I noticed, on the Switch it does have a bit of lag. It's not too big a problem, but it is a little noticeable. But one thing that's really cool is that you can actually see the entire world from no matter what level you're in. It's all connected.
Nice.
So if you're in
Cool.
if you're in Jellyfish Fields, you can see SpongeBob's house in the distance, and you can see the Krusty Krab in the distance, and the other worlds as well. So it's really small detail, but
like Mario Sunshine style kind of thing.
yeah, that's it, just like Sunshine. So that's a really cool detail. I don't remember it in the original, but it probably was there. But it still looks neat. So
Cool.
that's cool. But of course, most of my time has been spent playing Xenoblade, and
I'm right there with you.
We talked about this at length last podcast, but is there anything new you've noticed playing it in the past month?
Well, it kind of reminded me of it when you mentioned idle animations, but there are a couple of new idle animations which are cool. I mean, that's just a really small thing, but that's cool.
Yeah.
What else? I mean, again, the side quest tracking is phenomenal.
Oh,
I don't know how
so
I
helpful.
100%ed the 3DS version. I don't know how I did that.
Yeah, it is like there's a certain area later in the game which before it took me ages to. I literally have to grind in the background to find certain collectibles, but this time you could just bring them up in the tracker and it says, well, there's one for you right here, and it's so nice.
Yeah, it's so convenient,
so good.
man. It's saved a lot of time, so I really do appreciate that. I like how in the gifting menu, for gifting items, again, I think it's the most underrated part of the game. Like,
I've used it a lot this time, it's good.
I say underrated, I mean it's one of the most underused things. People don't trade and people don't gift, but like gifting.
I didn't know it was there my first two playthroughs.
Yeah, because the game doesn't really tell you much, but I like how this time round, you know, when you gift something, it actually saves how successful that gift is towards each character.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
It's just a really cool touch. I mean, I use the wiki anyway, but still, it still stands.
Yeah,
it's cool.
But that's the thing, I've gotten away. I'm not going for 100% necessarily, but I've done pretty much everything in the game, and I didn't need to use a wiki at all, except for some Colony 6 items. But besides that, you can actually get away with not using it just because of how good the system is now.
Yeah, it makes it much more friendly towards new players. That's for sure.
Yeah, in general, it's just the amount of polish really shines. Just scenes brought to life now with new facial animations, for example. You know.
Yeah, it's so expressive.
I mean, last time we filmed the podcast, I hadn't moved on to the main game yet. I'd just done Future Connected. But now I'm playing the main game and I've nearly finished it. You really do see the differences.
Yeah, and I'm about 2/3 through as well. It's great.
Yeah. And of course, you know, the music, the remix tracks,
they're
really nice. Mechanical rhythm, oh my word,
it's so good, man.
Really good, yeah.
The I don't know what to call it. The arm, we'll call it the arm.
The arm.
Oh yeah. You know
so
what I'm
beautiful.
about? It's
yes.
Yeah, gorgeous. Best area in the game. The music has been made somehow even better.
Somehow, yeah. And I think a lot of the tracks actually there aren't. Some like Mechanical Rhythm I think really stand out. Other tracks aren't majorly different, but it doesn't matter. It's still a new version of it, and it still sounds beautiful. So.
Sword Valley's night theme. I mentioned it when I was live streaming, but Sword Valley's night theme threw me off. Like, I don't remember the original, but I heard it and I was like, hang on, what is this?
It does, and the entire area in general just looks so much nicer. I think there's quite a few areas that looked a little bit visually bland on the original, which have been dialed up to actually look really nice in the definitive edition.
Yeah, especially more of the mechanical based areas. The metal looks amazing.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And I'm not gonna lie, I actually got emotional when I went to Saturn Marsh for the first time at night. It looks so good. Oh man,
it does.
I want to look at it again now. Wait, it's actually my wallpaper on my computer, so I can look at it right now.
That's a good shout.
Oh yes. But yeah, it's a fantastic. It just holds up really well. So
I think
play this game if you haven't.
Like, yeah, of course, get it, please. But one of the other things is the Chance Arts edition. So you know where, for example, if you're behind an enemy with Shulk, backslash will light up with the chance.
Yes. Yeah.
Originally, when this was first announced, I thought, I'll turn that off. I don't really want it. But it's just so nice. Like, I've kept it on and I've used it greatly.
I think it's really useful as well as a quick indication for if you need to get to use a move quickly. But also, sometimes certain enemies, it's a little difficult to tell if you're on the side of them or not, for example.
Yeah.
So that visual indicator really is helpful, especially for like the
nebulae and that
the
kind
gas
of thing.
nebulae. That's it. Yeah. Just in general, I'm enjoying this game more than I ever had. The fact I'm actually trying out different characters this time, like Ricky and Sharla, I've actually had a great time playing them, which surprised me. So
yeah, it's been an absolute joy, and again,
Yeah.
I think for me it's been Ricky and Seven in particular. I already knew from my original playthroughs. I used to play a lot of characters like Sharla and stuff and Dunban, so I already knew how to play them. But I've got sort of a newfound appreciation for Ricky and Seven because their play styles
cool.
I never really liked before, but now I know how to play them, so it's actually kind of fun.
Yeah, Sharla was a big one for me because I never really tried her out before, but actually it's a really interesting mechanic trying to keep your team alive and working out the cool-off as well.
Sharla's a great time, yeah.
She is really fun.
One of the really fun things I find for her is what you do is you find a unique monster that's like 5 levels higher than you and play as Sharla.
Oh yes.
And you just go on a healing frenzy the entire time. It's so much fun. I don't know, it might just be a personal thing because I like playing support roles, but it's so fun.
Yeah, she is. And also, I know you've tried out the expert mode. How's that been for you?
Long story short, it's XP manipulation. Simple as that. Because it doesn't make the game any harder, is the thing. All it does is allow you to change your level up and down, kind of like a more advanced version of the inns in Xenoblade 2. And
yes, yeah.
It's as simple as, let's say I'm going to go fight an enemy, but I'm like 10 levels higher than it. I can change my level so that I'm 5 levels lower. And it's much harder, but at the same time, how XP works in Xenoblade is, if you're, say, 5 levels lower, you get 150% XP rather than just 100%. And that kind of thing. And if you're 5 levels higher, you'll only get like 50% XP. So, in order to get more XP for the end game, I've been doing that the whole time in side quests and whatnot, and it's just worked out really fun. It's made sure that I'm not going through areas being completely over-leveled as well. It's really helped to regulate me and challenge me.
That's the big thing, I think. So. Yeah, it allows you to do all them side quests off-stream without being ridiculously leveled and plowing through the later parts. So
yeah, it's made it a lot of fun, so I really appreciate the inclusion there with things.
This game, I think the big thing with Definitive Edition, as well as looking better, it's never been more accessible. That's probably the best word for it.
Yeah, straight up.
Yeah. So next month I'll finish it, but you know what, it won't be long before I want to play this again. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be going through. I'm considering speedrunning it or something, but I don't know.
That would be interesting.
Maybe it's not really a game to speedrun is the problem, but that won't stop me.
That's cool. I best stop us before we talk another 30 minutes about Xenoblade.
Yeah.
But you know what, we could just do a Xenoblade podcast and it would work. We love it, so.
Yeah.
But let's move on. That's everything we have for what we've been playing, I believe, unless you've got anything else.
No, that's pretty much it.
Which brings us on to the final segment, What's Your Stinkin' Future? Where we look up to July and what's coming out. But, Tumbleweed. There's, I do have one thing to mention, as on the 9th of July, they're releasing Bloodstained, Curse of the Moon 2. I don't know if you know much about that series, Kai.
I know very little about Bloodstained, I'm afraid.
It's a Castlevania style game by the original creator of Castlevania, I believe. And I've never actually played it, but over the past year I got into the Castlevania series with the collection on Switch. So this really appeals to me, trying out the series.
What's the gameplay like?
Well, Bloodstained, there are 2 Bloodstained games. One that's quite modern and one that's actually 8-bit style, so like the old games.
Right.
And this is a sequel to the 8-bit style, so it plays like a classic 8-bit Castlevania, but with some modern sensibilities, I believe, as well.
So I mean that reminds me kind of like of Shovel Knight, where it's got the old style, but it's a really popular recent game. Yeah, Shovel Knight's probably a perfect kind of example. Yeah, and I have watched a playthrough of it before. Derek from Game Explain streamed it once. I watched that, and I need to get the original first, but I'm glad they're making more of it. And because Castlevania games, it's sort of dead now, which is a shame. So yeah.
You think the Netflix series is out, which is fantastic. So you think the series would be at an all-time high, but I'm glad at least there's another series carrying on the legacy.
Yeah, and I heard about it. There's loads of different characters with loads of different abilities that you can switch between.
Yes, yeah. It's a bit like it's sort of based on Castlevania, partly Mega Man actually, yeah. But Castlevania 3 allowed you to switch between a Belmont, Alucard, who's obviously part vampire, and Cypher, a magician.
Did it actually? I didn't know that. Cool.
Yeah, the original game allowed you to. There were different routes you could take, which means you'd meet these different characters and get to play as them.
That's really cool.
So it's definitely a cool game to adapt into a modern, new environment. So definitely sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, if that's the only thing that we got for next month, it's a good thing we talked loads about everything else, It
is, yeah, because there's of course Paper Mario on the 17th of July, but we already talked about that.
Yeah.
I don't think we have anything new to say. But I know we've gone on quite a while, but I do want to quickly mention the fact that there's no news is kind of a discussion in itself, that Nintendo have got to start revealing some new stuff soon, you think?
Yeah, perhaps.
Do you think... obviously, because of everything happening in the world, we know there have been delays, but they will still be making games, and there's going to be stuff for the rest of this year they need to announce. So do you think we could see a Direct, or even like a Twitter announcement like we got for Paper Mario in the next month?
That's a good question. I'm really not sure. I think we'll get
it's up in the air.
I think we'll get a general direct at some point, but not for a while. I mean, they're probably just working on things they've already announced and all of that sort of stuff. But I am hoping for a direct at some point.
The big things I can think that we know are coming are not mentioning Breath of the Wild 2 because I feel that's a while off. But we've got Bravely Default 2. We've got No More Heroes 3, and we have Bayonetta 3, which we know are all in the works. So maybe we'll hear something about those. But then again, they could completely surprise us like they did with Paper Mario. So
yeah, there might just be something new thrown out there. I'm not really sure what to look forward to at the moment. I've got Xenoblade on the Switch. I don't know what else I can ask for at this point.
Yeah, the thing is, I'm not too worried because I've got plenty of old games I want to replay, so I'm not going to be short on stuff to do. But still, it is interesting. There was rumours a little while back of remakes of classic 3D Mario games like Sunshine and Galaxy.
Yeah,
so maybe
I wonder
we could
what
see
happened
that.
to those,
Yeah, I believe the rumours said they would be announced or released in July or summer even, so maybe we will see those as a surprise. Yeah, that would be something, because we literally have nothing after Paper Mario, but no matter what it is, hopefully there will be something there so we can talk about it next month. Otherwise we'll just do a 10-minute podcast of us crying, so... Or we'll just talk about Xenoblade again, because we can talk about that forever. So.
No complaints from me there.
Exactly. But unless you've got anything else to say, I believe that's the show.
I guess one extra thing to note, again, Xenoblade. I've now got my own YouTube channel where I just did a review of Future Connected, as a bit more sort of structured with all of that sort of stuff, with video editing and that. Excuse the fact that it's my first ever proper video I've made with editing, so it's a bit lacking in areas, but check that out if you want to hear about it.
I really enjoyed it. It was very well edited, I thought. And very informative. It told you everything you needed to know. So
it's completely without spoilers too. So if you don't want to be spoiled, you'll be fine.
Yeah. So I'll of course have a link to that and his Twitch in the description below. Also, so thank you guys for watching this, and big thank you to Australian Samm as well for making our logo and giving us a lovely paragraph on Pokemon, because we haven't played it.
Of course.
And of course, thank you, Kai, for talking with me for 50 minutes about games.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. So please check out the rest of our videos we have. We talked about Future Connected, so you can check that out. We'll be here next month again, as usual, and we are on Spotify and Google Podcasts if you want to listen to us there as well. So until then, we will see you guys in the next video.
Yep.
Goodbye.
See you then.